Never tell people what you do. Let me tell you something that might sound strange, but it will change the way you move through life. The moment you tell the world your plans, you give it the power to destroy them. You think you're being bold. You think you're inspiring others. But what you're really doing is weakening your fire before it becomes a flame. The harsh truth? Most people aren't listening to cheer you on. They're listening to compare, to criticize, or to quietly hope you never finish. You've been taught that sharing your goals builds accountability. But that's not accountability, that's exposure. And exposure without execution is how dreams die. Because every time you speak about what you're going to do, you lose focus, you drain energy, and you trade momentum for meaningless applause. What if the greatest power you could ever wield wasn't in speaking louder, but in staying silent until the work is done? In this video, you'll discover why the strongest move is often made in silence. Why your discipline, not your declarations, will define your destiny, and why the world doesn't remember what you said you would do, only what you delivered. Silence is power. There is a kind of strength that doesn't shout. It doesn't post on social media, doesn't beg for attention, and certainly doesn't need approval. This strength lives in silence. While many speak loudly about their dreams, only a few are willing to water their seeds in the shadows, away from the spotlight. But that's exactly where the roots grow deep, in the unseen, in the quiet, in the invisible. The energy you conserve by staying silent is the same fuel that powers your execution. The moment you start talking too much about what you plan to do, your focus begins to leak. Words, no matter how poetic, don't lay bricks. They offer the illusion of progress, but without action, they're just noise. And here's the trap. That applause, that early praise, feels good, but it's hollow. It feeds the ego, not the result. It drains the discipline you need to actually build something real. The greatest builders in history knew this truth. Just look at the tallest tree. It doesn't make a sound as it rises. It grows in isolation, slowly gaining strength where no one can see it. I've lived that. My own growth began the moment I stopped speaking and started acting. And when you walk this path, something interesting happens. What comes next is not a theory, it's proof. Execution creates proof. You don't need to explain yourself to the world. Not anymore. When you execute, your results become the loudest voice in the room, and they speak in a language no one can ignore. Proof always wins over promises. The people who deliver don't need to convince or defend. They simply show, and the work speaks for itself. Think of it this way. A man who talks about building a house still sleeps outside. But the one who lays brick after brick in silence? He has shelter. Execution doesn't care about your background, your story, or your excuses. It only cares whether or not you moved. The scoreboard doesn't lie. Neither does the harvest that follows the unseen labor. I remember vividly the season when I stopped talking and just started doing. No posts, no announcements, no explanations. Just long nights, heavy doubt, but relentless action. And what happened? Results, real ones, tangible, undeniable. That's when people stopped asking if I could and started asking how I did. And the best part? I didn't say a word. People envy more than they support. It's a hard truth, but one you must learn early. People envy more than they support. Sometimes it's subtle, a fake smile, a forced compliment, or a friendly suggestion to slow down. But underneath, there's discomfort. Your growth threatens their comfort. Your ambition reflects their inactivity. And so, instead of clapping, they criticize. Instead of lifting you, they quietly hope you'll fall. I've seen it with my own eyes. The same friends who once cheered when I had nothing grew silent when I started to rise. They weren't evil, just uncomfortable. Your success acts like a mirror, and not everyone likes what they see. Many have dreams they buried long ago, and watching you pursue yours with focus and discipline, it stings. That's when the subtle sabotage begins. Little doubts, casual discouragements, masked as concern. You must protect your vision like treasure. Not everyone deserves access to your fire, not even family, especially not those who haven't built anything. They will speak from fear, not faith, and fear is contagious. That's why your path must be walked with determination and a sharp sense of who truly adds value. The ones who believe in you won't need proof up front. They'll respect the process, even when it's silent. Talking invites. Every time you open your mouth to declare your plans, you open a door you might regret. That door lets in criticism from those who've never built a thing in their lives. It invites doubt from voices that quit before even trying. And worst of all, it calls in envy, silent, toxic, and often disguised as advice. The more you speak, the more permission you give others to interfere with what they don't even understand. Talking also invites something even more dangerous than outside judgment: internal distraction. The moment you speak your dream out loud, your mind feels as if part of the work is done. But it isn't. You've just swapped execution for exposure, and that trade always costs more than you think. Words, when spoken prematurely, rob you of your edge. They leak your energy, your clarity, and your precious momentum. Think about it. Ever told someone your goal and felt a rush of validation, like applause for something you haven't done yet? That's the trap. That's the illusion. While you're still explaining, others are already building. While you're trying to be understood, someone else is achieving results in complete silence. So ask yourself, do you want to be heard now or respected later? The seed analogy. A dream is like a seed. Small, quiet, full of potential, but fragile. You don't plant a seed today and yank it out tomorrow to prove it's growing. That would kill it. Yet that's exactly what people do with their vision. They expose it too early, hoping for validation, applause, or proof. But the soil doesn't reward impatience. It honors those who can protect the unseen, who understand that growth begins in darkness. The roots, the part no one sees, are the most important. That's where your focus, your discipline, and your belief take hold. It's a process, slow and invisible. But without those roots, there will never be fruits. I've mentored people who had massive ideas, but the moment they felt pressure to show results before they were ready, they broke. Not because the idea wasn't good, but because it wasn't protected. They dug up their seed for applause and lost everything. Let your dream and raise a recipe in silence. Water it daily with action, sacrifice, and persistence. You don't need to post about your progress or explain your every move. Just like the farmer who trusts the rain, the soil, and time, you must trust your own work ethic and patience. And when the right season comes, the harvest will speak for itself. Loudly, clearly, undeniably, but only if you don't dig it up too soon. Discipline, focus, and patience win. Real success isn't loud. It's built behind closed doors, when no one is watching, when applause is absent and doubt is loud. That's where discipline becomes your greatest ally. The quiet repetition, the unsexy work, the nights where you push through exhaustion while others scroll through distractions. You don't need motivation. You need a routine. One that's immune to mood, opinion, or applause. One that's anchored in purpose, not popularity. In a world chasing fast likes and instant wins, you must become the one who plays the long game. Focus is your weapon, and patience, that's the currency of real builders. Think of the gym goer who shows up daily with no fanfare, or the entrepreneur who builds systems, solves problems, and refines processes before a single customer ever notices. It's boring at times, but that boredom is sacred. It's the cost of consistency. When people finally see your results, they'll call you lucky. They'll call you gifted. But you'll know it wasn't luck. It was the hidden construction, the uncelebrated days, the relentless execution that created a reality too solid to be ignored. While others were talking, you were building. While they looked for shortcuts, you took the stairs. And now, the proof is in your hands, not to defend, but to deliver. Now that you've heard the truth, what will you do with it? Will you keep announcing your plans to people who don't carry your vision? Will you keep leaking your energy into conversations that go nowhere? Or will you finally choose the harder, braver path? The path of quiet execution, of hidden growth, of undeniable proof? Let me ask you, how many dreams of yours já moram por excesso de palavras e falta de recao? Quantas vezes você busca validação de quem nem sabe o que é sacrifício? E a partir de hoje, você colas o barulho externo. E de excesso os resultados falaram por você. Don't wait for the world to believe in you. Earn their respect in silence. And when your time comes, when the vision becomes reality, you won't need to say a word. Your victory will echo for you. If this message lit a fire in you, subscribe to this channel, activate notifications, and stay with us, because this is just the beginning of your transformation. Together, we'll continue unlocking the mindset that separates the average from the unstoppable. Now go, and let your results do the talking.